Oops. Hello everybody, welcome to this week's webinar, and we're going to talk about the grip and how it controls the club face. We want to thank our sponsors, Medicus Golf and KX Golf. We're here at Tiffany Green's Golf Club in Kansas City, Missouri. Again, it is Red Friday. The Cowboys had a good game yesterday. The Chiefs, not so much last week. We're hoping to get back in the saddle today. We also have our member dinner tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be the second one that Brenndan's been to, I think.
Yeah.
But I also want to say that this is for one of our members, Mark McNally, who may have the ugliest grip ever known to man. But he plays really good golf with it. So we're going to talk about how to find the grip that works best for you. Show you some drills on how to find that grip. I mean, we have people come every day. In fact, you had a guy today.
Yeah, had a guy today that was losing grip pressure and hands were almost coming off the golf club during the backswing.
Well, his right hand was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like at the top of the backswing, and this hand was like completely off the club.
Right.
And we get a lot of people come up in the left hand's off in this manner. So we're going to talk about a little bit about pressure. We're going to talk about hand angles relative to club face, and show you some drills on how to do that. So the first thing, and you can do this at home, and by the way, if you have any questions, just put them down here in the chat box, and we will get to those after the webinar. So, there's a lot of different ways to find out, the easiest way for you to put your hands on the grip and what's going to help you control the club face more. Your ball flight's going to tell you a lot of that anyway.
Yeah.
So what we typically see, and we're going to use terms that are known in the golfing world, maybe not in the scientific community, but we're talking in real life and how you do things
everyday purposes. Yeah.
Everyday applications. So you can have a grip that looks kind of like this. This would be called kind of neutral, the backhand, the left hand facing down the target line. You can have it for a right-handed golfer. You can have it turned varying degrees to the right, which would be stronger, and you can turn a little bit to the left, which would be a little weaker. Most of the people we see that come in here, their grip is too weak. I'll have Brenndan put his grip on here. And we're just going to put a really weak grip on there. Now, most of the time, what you'll see with that hand is they'll set up like this, and as they come down to impact, their hand doesn't want to stay there, it wants to go there. Well, now this club face, and let's point this direction so I can kind of see where the face is. Now this face is pointed way to the right, and it's really not their fault. It's because of the angle they put their grip on. So they have basically one choice, two choices, right? Go ahead and hang on to it. Okay. A lot of them will just throw it from the wrist this way to try to square it up, or they could rotate it more. Okay, so that would be more of a rolling action. Most high-handed campers don't do that. They use the first one.
They use the first one, yeah.
So let's talk about how you would find your neutral grip. So Brenndan just stands up and holds that thing straight out in front of him. Okay, so we're gonna face the camera. Adjust your left hand. Hold that out to where the club is equal to your left shoulder.
Okay.
All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this hand. See if you can how far you can get the palm without hurting yourself. All right, now you can see how the leading edge right now is level to the ground. So that particular grip angle works for Brenndan. Let's say, though, that he's been told he needs to strengthen his grip, and he already had a strong grip, and now he goes to this same location. You can see how the toe is turned completely down. So this is a way to find your neutral grip.
Yep.
So let's say that you had this grip type on, the one that we would deem a little bit strong. Now you rotate your hand up, and again, you don't want to force it. So to find that, I would loosen and move this back to where the leading edge is level to the ground. Now retake it. As you look down, you'll see that his grip angle has changed. It went from here,
super strong,
to there, and that would be a way to find out how he can get it back.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a couple other ways you can do this. You can set up with a 2x4 or anything. Let me get you just a regular club here. And you can go ahead and set up to this 2x4. All right, now go to impact with your body and hand locations. Now, if this leading edge stays square to this, you're in pretty good shape. But let's say the leading edge was opened a little bit when he did that. Well, what we need to do again is loosen the hands, rotate the club, and then put the hands back on it. That's another way to find your neutral. Okay. And finally, a third way would be go ahead and take your grip again, just hold it up here just a little bit. Go ahead and take both hands on it. All right, so I'm going to set it right down here, about even with this 2x4. All right, take your stance and everything. Now go to impact and feel like you're pulling up on the club. All right, so now what we see is the face just immediately went over this way. Okay, immediately to the right. And that would be good if you're trying to hit a draw for a right-hander. You'd want to start it that direction. But if it's too much, again, what we would do, we just move, loosen the hands, move the club back to where it's more neutral position. All right? So those are 3 quick ways for you to learn, and figure out what works best for you. So anything you want to add to that?
No, I think the real neat thing to take from what you just showed everybody is that you did all those from impact,
right?
Not from setup. Right. Because again, impact's the most critical time, and that's when you need to really make sure that this face is doing what it needs to do. So right. All these little tests and everything is done from an impact position, not a setup position.
Right. And again, you can just take a badminton racket, right, and do the same thing. So if I hold this like this, right, and I go like this, you can see how that's not level to the ground. So I would loosen my hand, turn it until it is, and again, let me show you the angle of my hand right now. Let me move in just a little closer so you can see my hand. Now if I went like this and I went like that, you can see it's not level. So I go here, put it back down. Now I think you can see the difference where my hand location is with the left hand.
Yeah.
So that is like the quickest way to figure that out. Then hit shots and see what your ball does.
Yeah.
Okay. If it is over curving, you may have adjusted it a little bit too much. If it's still got a little bit too much curve to the right for a right-handed player, it might be just the difference between your face and your path. We see an awful lot of golfers that their hand will look like this at address. I'm going to turn it this way. Okay. Now I go to the top and I come down and I'm like this. Well, you can see that hand's in a totally different location. You can now see where the face is pointed versus where I started out. Mm-hmm. So we've got, this is really simple to do.
Yeah. And think of it too as if you had a hammer in your hand, okay, and you put your grip however you normally grip it with your left hand. Let's say that this ends the hammerhead side. Well, if I'm going to hit a nail here, well, you just got to get the hammer back to where it should be. And that's where your impact hand or your grip's going to be.
Right.
So again, if you think of it like that, because if my hand's more weak here, more turned to the side there, it's going to have a different motion than if it's on top more.
Right.
So, again, it's what do you want the ball to do and what do you want the face to do?
Yeah, and, Gene Saracen, had an extremely, what we would, again, golf terminology, strong grip. Yeah. But you also have to remember that if you're somebody that does this a lot, the club is moving past your hands, if you turn that grip over here, you cannot do that any longer. Yeah. Okay, because the wrist isn't working on the same angles. So Gene Saracen's grip was so strong, he could throw this as hard as he wanted with his right hand, and he could not get it out of line. Yeah. So now I'm going to grab this yardstick that we have over here, that we usually have over here. Oh, there it is. Now, this is a drill that you can do at home with a ruler, just to kind of see how it fits in your hand. So what you want to do is you want to take this, you want to put this in your fingers and under your heel pad and close your hands. Okay, that's how your hand should go on the club, right? You wouldn't grab it like this, right? So you want to make sure it's in the fingers, under the heel pad, close your hands. You're going to do the same thing with the right hand. Now you have a grip that looks like a golf grip. Yeah. So that's another good. You can do that practicing with your kid's ruler.
Oh yeah, ruler's a great aid for the grip.
Yeah. So a lot of little things that you can do with very simple tools. A racket, something you can put this, if you choose to use your golf club, something you can put your club up against to give you a sturdy foundation, a racket, something that you can use like this, and then a ruler.
Yeah.
And then just do these very simple drills, and you'll find out. I mean, this one for me, see, this is how I return the face. So from here, for me, see, that puts it right there level to the ground. If I use any stronger grip, it rotates way too far.
Yeah.
And you're going to get those big, smother, probably hot grounding hooks.
Oh, yeah. Not very attractive.
No. So I see we have a couple of questions. Let me go and see what these are. All right, so we have two questions. And they're both from Rex. First one is, what are the advantages of the double overlap grip that Jim Furyk uses? And the second, what is the correct pressure point of both hands? All right, so Jim Furyk uses that double overlap, and what it essentially does is it takes a lot of his right hand out of the shot. Greg Norman doesn't use an interlock or an overlap or a double. He actually interweaves it like this. He puts his fingers in this way instead of here or here. He interweaves them. So he essentially has a 10-finger grip.
Yeah.
So Art Wall, who used to play the PGA Tour years ago, has the record, last time I looked on the PGA Tour, for a number of holes in one, with a 10-finger grip, and it was over 20 hole ones during his career.
He's one of the best ball strikers ever.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter the grip type that you want to use, whether it's overlap, interlock, web, double overlap, but Furyk does that. Now, as far as the pressure points, why don't you talk about those, and give Rex a little idea about it.
Yeah, pressure points, you want to think of it as pressure points of the last three fingers here of your left hand. So, you want to feel the club through there, because now that's behind the shaft. The thing where you want to feel the pressure points in the grip is everything is working behind the shaft. Okay? So when I get my left hand on there, I can sense some pressure, get up here like Chuck was doing, with these last three fingers of my left hand. But now when I get my right hand on there, I'm going to sense some pressure, kind of the meaty part of my right pad right here, going right on my left thumb. So again, you'll see with my left thumb to the side of the grip, I've got pressure going against that thumb right there. So that's behind the shaft. And then another pressure point that you're going to feel is kind of right here on the index finger of the right hand. So that, when it lines up, that's behind the shaft. So you've got one here, two on the thumb, and then three right there, and they're all three behind the shaft.
Right. And ask yourself this question, right? Go ahead and get set up for a second. So the shaft is designed, regardless of what you hear, read, or see on some YouTube videos, a golf club, an iron golf club, is designed to have the shaft leaning forward. That's the design of the club. So if I want the shaft to lean forward, would I put pressure behind the shaft or in front of the shaft? Obviously, I put it behind. Well, what's behind? That joint of that index finger, these three fingers, and this pad where it's pushing against the thumb.
So everyth's going like this.
Yeah, so that gives you just a ton of stuff to figure out. And you really can't go wrong. I mean, if you get the Mark McNulty grip or Mark McNally grip, and you look like this, okay, I mean, again, he plays good golf, but geez, Mark, come on, take a lesson, dude. Okay.
Did you show him that grip?
I did. I said, here, use this. All right, so anyway, I don't think we have any more questions, so we want to say thanks. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We got more holidays coming up, holiday season.
Tis the season.
It is the season. So we'll see you again next week, and if you have any questions, be sure to email them to us. And we always want ideas for the webinar, so if you have an idea that you want us to talk about, send it to us. We'll be happy to do it. All right? See y'all.